What's going on, Truckers Delight fans, friends, and family? Hi, my name is Will
Hello.
Walker, and we got Keith and Jason, and it is here. And we decided to do a little late night showing with our skeleton crew. Sorry guys, I was at a wedding, but it was pretty dope. Like we were at a restaurant, and I accidentally spilled a drink, and then me and my other friend we bolted out because I just realized we didn't pay for it, and it was just a small drink. It wasn't even like an alcoholic beverage; it was like a strawberry lemonade, and so it was just like go 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 go. Anyway, it was fun. But
Yeah, you
anyway,
living on the edge.
I am. Like I'll do some like little stuff, like I'm just living it up. Anyway, as Marie would say, tell me guys, what would she say at this moment?
Roll that beautiful
Roll
bean
that
footage.
beautiful bean footage.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. So there's a small technicality. So when I pasted this title in the thing here, like I literally copied and pasted it from Paramount Plus, and I didn't realize that it was spelled wrong. So I'm gonna
Yep.
let Keith fill in on that part.
Yes, it was one of those rare things where the title of the episode is slightly different from what is listed on Paramount Plus. Hey, welcome.
Who's got that job? And you
So,
had one job.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Colton. I appreciate that.
yeah. So it's it on Paramount Plus, and in our title here, it's empathological when it's empathological. So the second A should be an O, and when you
Yeah,
watch the
yeah,
episode, that's the one that's used in the episode, and that is grammatically correct.
yeah. They had one job. They had
Yep.
literally had one job.
Could
Like,
they could have done worse. So
could have done worse. Like they really could have. They could have put a dash in between there or something. It would have been bad.
yep,
But so would we say that this is like a Talin episode or like a
oh,
Talin and Mariner episode?
it's
I
absolutely a
think
Talin
a
episode.
Talin episode. I think they're focusing a lot on Talin
I
this season.
yeah, I
Well,
mean maybe this
considering
season. I don't know why. I feel like this is a Talin and Boimler episode.
Not even a
oh, but
boiler episode that much. I mean, maybe in a
Oh,
small part,
well,
but
Boimler's got
Boimler was the subplot.
yeah, Boimler is the C plot, yes, but yeah, the A plot is Talin.
Yeah, so the main plot here is Talin. Actually, let's just start in the beginning and just take it from there.
yeah.
Okay,
Well, okay. Well, you know what? Let's
Go
let Keith
ahead.
roll through it.
Yeah. So
Go
this is
through
the
it, Keith.
beginning. Go ahead, Keith.
okay. I'm sorry, you guys just kept talking, and I was supposed to. All right, so this is the fifth episode of the season. We go to start with Talin's message. As it turns out, everybody's finding out now about these missing ships being attacked. So the Cerritos has been called upon to transport three Betazoid ambassadors from Angel One to Risa to quote keep the party rolling. So the three come on board, and well, Captain Freeman and Commander Ransom are taking them, and Lieutenant Junior Grade Talin is there as well. She, they are sort of going over. So obviously they're being very bawdy, they're being very open, and Ransom is into it, but it seems a bit too into it for their taste. Uh, Talin is given their whalebones to go get them filled up as they take them on their way around the ship. Uh, they had hold on, let's make sure I get it. They go to sick bay to get checked out, and which
Mhm.
we found out that Caitians used to hunt and eat the Betazoid people.
Right.
So that's a bit of surprising backstory there.
So I didn't know that Betazoids were so tasty. Like, what was I missing?
I
Did
always
they?
figured they'd be.
I mean, did those cat people make them into cereal? Like, and I think this was like the first time we saw like some sort of militaristic form of a Betazoid. You know, a
Well, you're
Betazoid.
getting
Like,
ahead of the story here, man.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. But all right, so Talin finishes her message and she messaged to Captain Sokol of her ship, and she tends to send the message, but it's blocked because they're in communications blackout while transporting these ambassadors for fear of this mysterious ship attacking them. And she starts to get frustrated as a Vulcan would, you know, veiled
Mhm.
contempt. She goes to the bar to try to find out when communications are going to be restored and sees that the crew is getting all levels of debauchery going on as the Betazoid women are in the center of it. And Tendi is like really, really trying to get to Lynn to be her friend. Mariner is saying the F word with every other word.
Literally.
Uh, and Rutherford is running around like a crazy guy. Boimler's not there because he was testing himself. Now that he's a lieutenant junior grade, he feels he needs to have a certain knowledge of the ship, including knowing the name of every single member of the crew. But he failed to get Sleepy Meep, so he's got to do it all over again. So Rutherford left him behind in the quarters, but messaged Shax that Boimler is a good candidate for the program. So back in the bar, you have Talin is noticing that everyone's being a little bit too fun, and then Captain Freeman figures it out herself. So they just even to the point of noticing Miggly Moo has taken a phaser to shoot at the replicator because the regurgitated food he ordered wasn't regurgitated like his mama did. So they then take the Bajoran women back, Betazoid women back to sick bay after they get Anna back from chasing her own tail in the middle of the bar, because this could very well be, what's the name of the disease?
Oh man, that's a good question. It was a disease that affected.
Xanthi fever, which had infected Oksana Troy in an episode of Deep Space Nine.
Space Nine.
In which it caused the crew of Deep Space Nine to have emotional outbursts around her. So that seemed like the logical thing. They take them to sick bay. Anna checks them out, and no, none of them. But Freeman is still certain that there's something about these women that isn't right. And at which point they drop their cover. They are the Betazoid Intelligence Agency, and they're there psychically investigating to try to find out what is happening to these missing ships.
The Tal Shiar of Betazoidians.
Yes, they overpower Freeman, make their way to the bridge, and overpower the bridge crew, and decide that they are need to return to Betazoid immediately, which for some reason means they have to take a left turn straight into the Romulan neutral zone. Despite Betazoid not being on the other side of Romulan space, but all right. So now they are in charge of the ship. They themselves are being very emotional. And everyone's just still trying to figure out what's going on. Meanwhile, Boimler has joined the security crew, the officers, for the program, which it turns out to be everyone just getting into their own thing. One security officer doing slam poetry about Worf. Well, knowing the Betazoids we know, I think they'd be very rich in flavor.
I mean, honestly, I would think that they're rather. I mean, it's Loxana. Think about it. Like, how could she not be? She like.
I was thinking more Troy, and anyway.
I mean, I guess, and there, that's a little. Well, let's talk about that comment after we do the recap. Yeah,
yeah,
because
okay. So Boimler joins in, and Kayshawn is doing charades of acting out as Odo, and finally they try to get Boimler is thinking that why isn't the security crew, you know, beating up
The
each other
camera's
or
on.
just shooting stuff or anything. Well,
Sorry.
and as he finally gets, finally, screams at them that it's time that they should show some grit. That's when Freeman is able to overpower the Betazoid women and put on red alert. So the security crew then heads to the bridge, where they are relaxed from their session and are able to easily overpower the three Betazoid women and retake the ship, just barely keeping it from reaching Romulan space, where the neutral zone, where a Romulan ship is lurking.
Just right there. And
And
I had a
You're like,
feeling.
oh,
I had a feeling they were right there. Like,
And of course, they're disappointed that the Federation ship didn't get closer. So they're now going to go lurk in Sector 87 instead. So they have re-control of the ship. Mariner and T'Lyn were left in sickbay, and after they had been tied up by the Betazoid women, they got loose and found Ta'ana. Ta'ana's tricorder was dropped right next to T'Lyn, and it turns out it's not the Betazoid women that are putting out emotion; it's T'Lyn,
still in.
showing signs of the Bendai syndrome, which we saw in Next Generation episode Sarek, when Sarek was suffering from it.
Mm-hmm.
So then Mariner and T'Lyn go back to the bar, trying to figure out how to calm her down, and they end up
Right.
getting chased by the crew from the bar until they hide in a closet, where T'Lyn is able to temporarily calm down Mariner with a quick, not quite mind meld, but a touch to the face.
Yeah.
And
It was
then,
like a very, very subtle one.
so they have to have a moment to talk and realize, and T'Lyn realized how frustrated she was that she wasn't able to send the message to her captain, how she has constantly felt upset with her punishment that was being exiled to Starfleet and the Cerritos, and that she was hoping that she could return to her ship soon. But this moment with Mariner and realizing that she herself had lost control, and as Mariner pointed out, that she may consider herself less a Vulcan for suffering this, but remember that Sarek suffered from Bendai syndrome, and Sarek was as Vulcan as a motherfucker. So T'Lyn, therefore, is as Vulcan by the transitive property, is as Vulcan as a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
So then she's able to calm herself. The tricorder showed that her readings are down, and just as the door breaks and Tendi and Rutherford come falling in, and everyone starts to calm down. The crew in the bar are getting up. Ransom with a quivering mess on the floor. Several members of the crew were making out, and Migliomo was, just beating the shit out of that replicator. And the Bajoran women at the bridge also now calm down.
Right.
So, Boiler got to see a different side of security. T'Lyn got to basically more feel part of the crew. They get to Risa. The Bajoran women are sent off, and before they go, they show a picture from a Bajoran deep space probe that's got a grainy image of the ship that's been attacking the other ships. So now we know that Cerritos has that bit of information.
The hamster-looking ship.
And T'Lyn is looking to stick around on the Cerritos.
Time to be on the hunt for that ship. I tell you though, that neutral zone throughout Star Trek, it just pops up all of a sudden, all the time. Oh,
I mean, it's just a neutral. I mean, I kind of liked like the red light markers.
Yeah,
like,
that was nice having the dots. That was
very nice. Yeah, it's like it's not just empty space. It's like, oh, you mean to tell me they took the time to put like across the border? I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what did we think about this particular episode?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
You gotta remember that even though we've had T'Lyn for a little while now, this is technically her first season on the show.
Yes. And this is her first sort of solo episode.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Colton, you're not wrong. And
Well, it's crazy how it was. She wasn't really a part of the A story, but she seemed still to be the most important part of the show.
I
Because the A
think
story kind of revolved around the Betazoids and the rest of the crew,
Well,
but she was the one on
no,
top of everything.
I think that's the B story. The A story
Okay,
is still in.
got it.
the A story is still in because initially, when she did her log, we were learning the story through her perspective and her narration almost.
It begins and ends with her log.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she's the storyteller for this episode.
Yeah, I gotta say, Ransom was like shot down mighty quickly.
Well, if you go
by
back
the
to the end of season 1, No Small Parts, when he sort of hits on Deanna and asks if Deanna has any friends, and she shuts him down
real quick.
Yeah, say that he's desperate, and he said, "I can work with that."
Right.
Obviously, he hasn't learned.
He has not learned anything
about Betazoid women.
I mean, he just didn't. He just didn't. Like, but bless his heart. And I'm like, not you, the hottest one on the ship, and you can't get no one except yourself. Like, has we ever seen him go on a date or take any girl out or anything?
Yeah. Well, we saw the salt monster at one point.
Yeah.
Back in Veritas from season 1. He didn't realize it was a salt monster, but yeah. And we've seen him attempt to date people. And there was the one planet where he was revered as a god because of how fit he was. And
I mean, he fine, yeah, but yeah, I mean, but it's just like bro, you getting rejected so much. I kind of want to meet you to see like what is it like.
Well, he's a bro, that's for certain. I mean,
he's definitely a bro.
We didn't see him lift any weights this episode, though.
No,
I mean, no, he was
that would have been nice for him. That would have been awesome for him.
No, we saw him lift emotional weights, and as he was bawling his eyes out on the floor.
He did. This is not like
had
Enterprise.
Go to his room and buff up to try to like get back. Like let me get us some weights, and then I'm gonna get back at her. Get back out.
This is not Enterprise where you go to the gym and lift weights to get over Orion slave girls. Like,
right.
I'm pretty sure that's how his character was born. By the way.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's make a character that just does that.
By the way, what did you think of our guest cast for today's episode? The 3 Betazoid women are played by Rachel Dratch, Wendy Malick, and Janelle James, 3 of the top comedians on television these days.
I'm afraid I'm not very knowledgeable on today's comedians.
Rachel Dratch was on Saturday Night Live for several years. Her most famous role being Debbie Downer. And she went on from that to 30 Rock.
Right.
Wendy Malick was on Just Shoot Me for several years.
Mm-hmm.
The sitcom set at the Fashion Magazine, and she's done a lot of other comedic roles. Janelle James is currently on Abbott Elementary. She's the principal of the elementary school in that show.
The principal, huh?
So,
yeah, okay.
I don't watch shows unless they have spaceships in them.
I mean, it's good. I mean, Star Trek has always been pretty good at getting like guest stars, which I thought was pretty good. Let's see. They gave me Hocus Pocus meets. So I mean, I could see that, you know, and I looked at their dresses and I said, if I didn't know any better, I'd say each dress was probably a different dress Lwaxana wore at some point in TNG, if I didn't know any better. But but that's just a theory right now.
Yeah,
it's possible. People
because and maybe well, answer me this: is the way they dress like a shot into Betazoid culture? Do they always dress like that? Because I thought they were naked most of the time.
We haven't seen
no, they're only naked at the wedding.
At the weddings, yeah. That's
why?
At the wedding. Why?
Why
are they naked? Why are they naked at the wedding, but everywhere else they wear wigs and big poofy dresses, looking like Cinderella and the Stepsisters?
Why do you wear a white dress at a wedding in our culture? It's
so people can see what's being given away and what's being taken.
Yeah,
I guess because it's just like this is my first time seeing, if I remember correctly, this is my first time seeing a Betazoid woman outside of Deanna, outside of Lwaxana, and it's just like okay, because unless y'all could think, I know we've seen some guys. but I don't remember seeing another Betazoid
They
woman.
don't show a lot of their culture, and it was like the first time we saw, especially in organized, like we talked about, military sort of group
Mhm.
that was
Well,
out, you know.
Well, and what's funny is that actually plays off of the title for this episode, which it works on several levels. First, the fallacy thinking that it was the Betazoid women that were causing the emotional outburst, but it was actually Talin.
Right.
But also empathological fallacies is based off of the term pathological fallacy, which is the idea of judging an entire group of people by a small subset, like
Mm.
Right,
thinking that maybe all Klingons are warriors or
right.
all Betazoids are like Loxana.
Well,
Mm.
that's how Star Trek is written.
Exactly, but it's all through the window through which we view it. But that's been a major knock on Star Trek, and we have discussed that even
Hmm.
last week so many times. The
Mm.
pathological fallacy there. So for them
Mm.
to actually bake that into the episode the title itself is an Easter egg for all of Star Trek.
Okay. I was kind of wondering about that. I was like,
Just
oh,
saying, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
empathological fallacies. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't
I
spell, so I wouldn't have thought that.
So I'll be honest with you, while they were doing the charades for different historical characters, because I guess by this point Odo is a historical character.
Yes.
Because he's like at this point he's the leader of the Great Link, like at
Mhm.
this point in history. Okay. I didn't know who they were portraying. I didn't I didn't get it. I was like, who?
Well, only
Like,
Boimler did. So
and I wanted to know, I don't know if this lady was human, but you remember when the Beta Z lady said, "Why can't I read you?"
that,
And
that's
and she
Castro, who was actually voiced by Gabrielle Ruiz. Ruiz, the same actress who voiced Talin.
oh
But,
wow.
but yeah, she's human. It's just she was so zen after doing her slam poetry about Worf that she was able to clear her mind and do her job.
I guess it is
I feel like they
possible for
dropped. I feel like
go
they
ahead.
dropped an old school Star Trek name in every episode. The
I
Yeah.
name of
mean,
somebody, and I
Oh
would say
yeah.
every episode they drop it. They figure out a way to drop it.
oh
I,
yeah, to just drop it in somewhere.
well, this
Yeah.
season has been heavy in Voyager references. So this one
Oh.
was a little bit. No, I mean it was more. You had reference to a TNG plot, a Voyager plot. You had reference to a DS9 character and a TNG character, and so there there wasn't as much on Voyager this time, but
Mm-hmm.
the others, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because they're really running through it, and I'm going like, y'all gonna run out of episodes here soon.
No, never.
No, there's way too many episodes.
800
Right.
episodes of Star Trek across 7 franchises before this one. Hi,
Right. And movies.
William. You've got people behind you waving.
I
Yeah,
know, I know.
people.
Unfortunately, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to
Oh,
talk about them before Jason loses his
I,
shit.
I was gonna say I didn't say nothing.
Oh my God. You
It
know,
was
let me
what the
take this
one
off.
dude was wearing. It was like what he was wearing last time. That's what
They
it
said
was.
hi.
Hello, hello.
What's happening?
Not much.
Oh, now we on speaker in the room, so everybody can hear what's going on.
Oh God. I like how they just like pulled up right behind me to just like I don't okay, yeah. Let me just adjust this if we're gonna be doing this, we
Get
may
a
as
chair.
well
Yeah,
get it
might as
right.
well.
Okay. Like,
Now I forgot where I
okay.
was. I had something important to say. Now it's just gone.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
There.
Okay, good morning. Here we go. And there's y'all remember Colton that came here this weekend, right?
Mhm.
There he
Yeah.
is right there.
Oh, wait, Golden. Golden was good.
Yeah. So
Wait. Colton is
He's a friend of theirs.
in the
it's a
room
friend of
with you.
ours.
No, he's a friend of theirs, Jason.
Mhm.
Okay, but he's not in the room with you.
No.
Okay, that's what I'm
This
saying.
is Maxwell and this is Evan. And
You
I'm Wood.
you introducing people, and never mind. Yeah,
Okay.
I got confused.
It's okay. It's okay.
Anyway,
You caught
yes,
up.
it was very Voyager heavy on this season. What were we just talking about? We were talking about they always drop names,
Yeah.
but that is Lower Decks. That's the underlying purpose of the show is dropping old school shit on every single episode, and
It
just
sounds like the
it's
Expendables.
like they just throwing them at you. And see how many you can catch. Can you
Mhm.
catch that?
I
Can you
mean,
catch that?
because it's like
Exactly what it is.
I can tell like in the first season it was just nothing but references with a Rick and Morty atmosphere, but since it got its own identity in season 2, and I don't think season 1 was bad, but ever since they got their identity in season 2 and forward, it's like, yeah, I can have references, but I can still do character development, which I really appreciate. But let
Oh,
me
yeah.
ask y'all something. Oh, normally, and I might have forgot this. Normally, when you bring in a new Star Trek character, they're replacing another. Did we lose anyone, or are
Well, we
they just
haven't had a
adding-
lot of Rutherford. We haven't had a lot of Rutherford really development.
I mean, well,
The
ever
second
since,
episode of the season was Rutherford
yeah,
episode.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, did we? Are we missing anyone, or did we like? Because
No.
Dax is still alive,
No, yeah, I mean, like they replaced Shax with Kayshawn, but then Shax came back.
right?
So they kind of play with that, but no, they haven't taken anyone away. I mean, some characters have gotten smaller parts, like Taana technically has gotten a little bit smaller in her parts because Tendi isn't in sickbay anymore.
That's right.
And
she was
They're not taking anybody away, but they're just giving people a little less story, just a little less airtime.
well,
You
there
have
is one character that had a little bit of screen time last season that has had no screen time this season at all.
Ooh.
Jennifer.
Oh,
Mariner's
we ain't seen her at
girlfriend.
all.
Did they break
We ain't
up?
seen her at all.
Mariner's Andorian girlfriend, yes.
Did they break up?
They did at the end of last season, but I mean, when she left for Starbase 80, they were broken up.
Oh, they broke
didn't
up.
stand with her.
Because and they probably never got back together.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think that would have been interesting just to have them like as a couple on the show,
Mhm.
going off on adventures
I mean,
together. Kind of romantic,
it's
right?
Mariner. Do you really think she's eligible for anyone on the ship that ain't like her?
That's what makes it interesting.
Well, she and Jennifer got along pretty well. I mean, you saw
Yeah.
Jennifer was boring. I didn't know nothing about Jennifer.
He was
Well, there
learning.
when they had the girls' night and she ended up phasering everybody.
I
Right.
mean, yeah, she did. Cool. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I guess they didn't know where to go with Jennifer, so they just said, "Hey, let's axe it like we did in that deleted scene with Neelix and Kess."
Mm.
I would like to see Talin with who the stupid guys are like.
Jet.
We are not smart dudes.
Oh,
We are not smart. The entire
Pac-Man.
lower decks cast.
No, the Pac-Man.
The Packlets. I would love to see Talin talking to her. I think they would just like she would just flip out from how
Yeah, 'cause
idiotic they
it's
are.
like, I mean, I really think it's like as vicious as they are or have recently become, they are the most stupidest
They
species
are.
I have ever laid eyes on any franchise, on any sci-fi movie. They are just so
It's
dumb.
hilarious. He's like,
And
I
how
beat
you-
Janeway, and you can't kill him. Dude was in space, and he came
Right.
back to life. He was in space for like an hour. Came back to life.
It's like, how did you get all these ships? Who built your computer?
They steal
Who
him.
did all this? And
Yeah,
you know what? And I'm a season and a half behind, but how did they like did away with the Packlets? That's what I'm wondering.
That was at the end of season 2. A bomb went off on Packlet Planet.
And they
And
accused the
They
captain. of
accused
doing it.
Captain Freeman. When we came back in season 3, they had found out, and this was all happening behind the scenes of our crew trying to save it. They found
Mhm.
out that it was the Packlets framed Freeman because they wanted the Federation to give them a
Right.
new world. So they blew up their own planet.
And
that's pretty much where
but
they left.
they're smart enough to like come up with a plan, even though if the plan is stupid, they're still smart enough to come up with it. I mean, dude was like, I went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
He went to the bathroom in the airlock.
And
That's when we were.
yeah.
That's when we were arguing about. And I was like, space isn't cold. And they were
Yeah.
like, what? I was like, you don't freeze in space.
Yeah, the Packlet are they're a special group, a special species.
They are a very special group. They kind of remind me of some people from my hometown. They just
Wow.
Well, we know that they
big,
are
big, round, and special, and stealing stuff from other cultures that doesn't belong to them.
Well, we know that them and the Kazon are completely the Borg are completely uninterested in both of those cultures.
That's sad. If the Borg don't want to
That's
assimilate
it.
you just terrible. I mean,
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken, I think the Kazon are like the Delta Quadrant version of Klingons.
That's supposed to be, but they're not.
And all they want is
That's so
just
weird.
water. Why couldn't they just settle for some water and leave
Well,
everyone else alone?
No, that was just the first Kazon sect we saw.
Oh,
Because they were on a desert planet. They
They
needed
just
water.
want, in general, they want territory. They want to gain territory.
Yeah.
That's all they
okay.
are.
So, side note, I might have taken Evan through like a Star Trek marathon a couple of days ago
All
to the
right.
point where he looked at me and he said, "I have questions."
Okay.
Which series?
So we went through like 2 series,
Deep Space Nine and Voyager.
Deep Space
Okay.
Nine, Voyager, and
Lower Decks.
some of Nemesis.
Well, the movie Nemesis.
Yes, the
Oh,
movie
I was
Nemesis.
like, what's the son of Nemesis? The sum of Nemesis.
So we did go through Voyager. So okay, so before watching the Tuvix episode, we watched Tuvix. So
Okay.
so that was on that part. But also Colton was there that same night, and we were going through the history of, and this has nothing to do with the show today, but we were going through the history of Data and
Okay.
how many
Oh,
times
Lord.
he came back and died.
Yeah.
And so I said technically he's died twice. Technically.
First of all,
More than that.
Well, I mean, more
Nemesis
than
will
that,
confuse
like,
Nemesis will confuse you with B4 and all this.
well,
shit
yeah,
with
I mean,
Data.
because what they tried to do with Data what they did with Spock and Bones. Like they
Like what?
Yeah.
transferred his memories to B4,
Oh.
just like Spock transferred his Katra, I guess,
Yeah.
to Bones. So, and the only way they could bring him back was to go in there and get it, which in a way they did. So he died there, and he died many other times, but like he
Yeah.
died there. And then in season 1, he died by request again, or at least his memories requested to pass away. And then he came back. And now this is why I kind of need your help, because Section 31 reconstructed everything to use him as a placeholder for their systems on Jupiter
Picard?
Station.
No. On Daystrom Station, Section 31 was using him as their main computer and security system.
Mhm.
So instead of having a data core or server or something like that, they had this golem, a it's like biological but mechanical
Thing
computer.
that pretty much they needed Data. Who
Yeah.
built this Data?
AI Soon, Alton Indigo Soon.
The one from season 1?
Yeah, because when
Why?
because he was building it for himself to replace the golem that ended up being used by Picard. And when he realized it was too late for him to finish it, to transfer his consciousness into it, he instead uploaded all of Data's consciousness, all of Laura's consciousness, all of B4's consciousness, and everything,
Right.
all of his memories. So
So he was originally building Data a body
no, he was building a body for himself.
in case for the day where he passed away.
Yeah, for
They're
him to
doing
be
too
able to
much.
transfer his consciousness to a synthetic body.
Oh, so the doctor from season 1 that looked like Data was building that body for himself. But because Data had requested to be let go, he didn't have that. No, never mind. He built that body for himself for the day when he passed away, the doctor himself. And then Section 31 came and said, "Hey, we want this." And he said, "Sure."
No,
Right?
no, he died.
He's dead.
He's dead.
Oh, you're not talking about, okay. Well, damn. Of course.
So when they found the Data on the station in that episode of Picard, they played a video of Alton Indigo Soon saying that he tried to get this done in time, but it was too late,
he could.
and he's not going to be able to finish it before he dies. So he because he knew he wouldn't be able to. He uploaded the consciousness of Data and Lore and the memories of B4 and himself onto.
I
this
wonder
new
why
Data.
they never came up with a storyline for Data to have a sister. Like, oh yeah, Sung built this too.
Because they didn't want to have Brent Spiner walking around dressed as a woman.
Well, no, they could have had a whole nother actress.
I mean, we had his mother, you know.
Yeah, Juliana Taylor.
Yeah, in that one bit.
Right. But yeah,
I have to say, This is not related. I did start watching some animated series,
Okay.
and I watched this like for the past week doing stuff around the house. And so I watched this episode where Nurse Chapel roofied Spot, straight
Yep.
up roofied this dude to make him fall in love with her. So he got backstory.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how to roofie Spock. Don't look at me.
Or that was front story, I guess. Anyway,
Yeah.
she,
I'm
Did
mad
you
that
watch?
I got-
Did you
she
watch
bought this
Yesteryear?
bought this roofie from Harry Mudd.
Right.
Harry
The
Mudd.
Passions of Mud is the name of the episode.
Yeah. So that's one of the
Yeah.
right in there.
But yeah, it was
Okay.
always sort of veiled in the original series that Chapel was in love with Spock.
Right.
So Strange New World just.
And then
built
by
on
the
it.
time the TOS came, it was a professional relationship.
Yes, because she broke up with him in song.
She did break up with him.
So they were. I guess I have a hard time defining what dating is because it's like Spock didn't really break up with his fiance. They separated.
They went on a break.
Right, but that is so friends. That is so we were on a break.
The
Like
reason why that's funny is because it happens to people all the time.
Yeah.
It's not a TV show. It's funny because it's real, not because it's a TV show, bro.
dude,
That's
like
why people like it.
Yeah,
That's
Friends
literally
based that off of-
happened to me. That's literally my life. Is what
It happens in real life. Friends copied real
Yeah,
life,
I
and
see
everyone
that.
now attributes it to Friends. But
you know what's crazy? I am the result of my dad, my biological sperm donor, taking a break. I'm the result. Hi.
he didn't take a big break, did he?
Man, you know what?
Yeah,
Get your ass out of here. Anyway, so
You can't.
I can do that if I want to. No,
That's
no,
crazy.
he's taking a break right now. Jason's taking a break. What?
Bring Jason back.
Okay,
Bring
I'll
him
bring
back.
bring Jason back. Okay,
Jason, wake up.
wake up.
Oh, okay.
He dead.
I was taking a nap.
William is a benevolent dictator. He rules with an iron fist of kindness.
Can we talk about how Boimler's first name is technically William?
Yeah,
No, it's Bradford.
it's Brad. Yeah, the other one's William.
It's William Bradford Boimler.
No, it's Bradford William Boimler.
So his middle name is
Well,
William.
the duplicate went by William.
So the duplicate went by William.
Yes,
Yeah,
and that
he
was more
died.
stuck up to Riker.
So the duplicate's first name is now William.
Yes.
Oh, he switched it. Just like Thomas Riker and Riker. Well, William Thomas Riker and then Thomas William Riker.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's not confusing at all. I love my name so much right now.
Hey, there's been famous people that have either elected to go by a different name or actually went through the trouble of changing their names because they didn't like their first name.
Yeah, people whose name is Alexa.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, they changed their names because they don't like that's a lot of work.
Well,
Said the
General President Eisenhower was born David Dwight Eisenhower. And
Really?
he had his name changed to switch to put Dwight first.
I feel like,
He was
yeah, I
scared.
guess, because if you want to change your name, most definitely.
her.
It makes me think like if your mom named you something absurd like chlamydia,
Hold on, wait a minute.
and I know someone named chlamydia here in Little Rock.
That's not their actual name. They not
No,
saying
it
something
is.
right.
No,
It is.
that tracks.
It is.
Her nickname
It's
is
like
Claps?
it's like KHLAMEDIA.
Well, you know what? That's that person's fault if they went this long without changing their name. 'Cause
Bro.
you can do that
like,
shit young.
Wait, you know someone named Random? Who? Wait, okay, I can understand ransom, but who is Random? Who is Random? Like
Some
I
random
feel like-
person.
I had a friend when I used to
work.
work for the Justice Department. I had a friend whose best friend was named
Hold up.
Until.
My daughter's uncle, who is your
My
brother-in-law? Is it brother-in-law?
yeah, it was
Technically?
yeah, brother.
Brother-in-law. Yeah. Brother-in-law.
You could have just said
Brother-in-law, I guess. Technically. technically.
No, but he means more his brother-in-law's brother. No, I mean, yeah, I guess that's
Legally, when
brother-in-law.
born,
brother-in-law.
named
Yeah, that's brother-in-law.
random.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing, baby daddy's sister's husband. Oh, that's two ways away. Okay, that makes sense. I know someone named River.
Well, River's actually pretty common.
It's a very calm name. I like
River's
that.
not that bad though.
It's not that bad.
And especially we had
You're
River
not
Phoenix. He
fucking-
wasn't
you're not
born
fucking with
River.
Lil.
He changed his
You're
name.
not fucking with Blue
Well,
Ivy.
you know what? So you know what?
Leave
Let's
my-
tie this back to Trek. How the fact that remember when Picard mispronounced broccoli, and his name is Barkley, but he called him broccoli. And
But
then when Riker came and saw Boimler, he called him Boomler.
Yeah.
Picard only did that because he heard all the other officers saying it and said that's unacceptable.
Right.
But it was in his head.
Yep.
That was nice.
But the look on his face when he said it was like classic. Like only Picard would get that face. Like I'm still in command, and I fucked up.
Yeah. And he apologized, and of course Barkley took it like I guess my name is Broccoli now.
So I have a question.
Okay.
If it's not even a question, if I were to have like a surprise uncle or a surprise father or a surprise parental figure, Boimler's parental figure would be Barkley. It has to be. Like, because I mean, now I feel like there's definitely a lot more character development and growth on Boimler's part, but I'm not gonna lie to you, season 1 Boimler reminded me of Barkley a lot.
All right, I can get that. It's not going to end up being Barkley because they're not going to allow Dwight Schultz anywhere back near the franchise.
What happened? What did he do?
He's apparently he's vehemently anti-trans.
What?
Wait, what?
You know, like transphobe?
He's transphobic apparently.
So him, Chakotay, Echep.
Well, all right. No, it's not that Chakotay. Okay, we went over this. It's not that Chakotay actually is anti-people. It's just
what he said.
He made statements. A person who is anti-LGBT, echoed him, and he said that's right, but he wasn't agreeing to everything the guy was saying. But because he didn't differentiate between what he was agreeing to,
people took that and
well, you know what? I don't like. I mean, it's kind of weird if you just have one different opinion about a subject and you're home. First of all, this is weird. I really don't know what homophobic means or transphobic means. I really don't know the definitions of the word.
The main thing is, phobic means scared of.
It means actually fearful.
That's why I'm confused about the topic. Because if I said I don't want a trans person to be able to, right?
Good one, Evan.
Are you okay? Oh my God, I hit his eye. Oh my God, I really hit him. I'm sorry. Oh my God.
It was instinct. Right up.
It was instinct. I'm so sorry. I'll buy you a cookie. Jason, what were you saying?
So like if somebody has a view about
good aim,
whether or not a child should have like surgery or blockers or anything like that, right? If they have an opinion on that, somebody be like, "Oh, you're transphobic." So I'm like, I don't understand what transphobic means. Then, like, how is that transphobic? If if they say
if they're
not actually scared, right?
Right, or homophobic.
A term for it. There's people that are there's anti-trans or anti-LGBT, but there's homophobic or transphobic.
Exactly.
It's
and it's all kind of thrown the same. It's all thrown in the same thing now. You say one thing.
I will say they did mix up a few definitions. Now I have met actual homophobic people where the words they used towards me was, "William, I'm scared you're going to turn me gay." Now that is like
I got something to say to you, man.
No, you know what? That's not even
case.
That's not even homophobic. I think that's just ignorant. I think that's just
the typical homophobic thing is a guy saying, "I don't want you to treat me like I treat women."
That is a thing, because I've ran into that. They're like, "Oh my God, I don't want you objectify me the same way that I did the girl around the corner that I just talked to." Like, so I mean, if that's the case, I want to see your Twitter and see exactly what you watch every night at 2 a.m. Like, but that's a wholly different topic. Then now back to Lower Decks. I did notice something, and I posted it, or I think I posted it. I saw a hijab for the first time in this episode tonight.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure we've had Muslim characters before. I'm pretty sure we did.
We've had
But
reference to them, but yeah.
a reference to them, and particularly with the men. And I
noticed it.
could have sworn Discovery had a Muslim character. I could have sworn at some point. But this woman had a full hijab on,
And it matched her uniform
as part of the uniform, and not just. And I thought that was so cool. And so I went on ahead and I had a small conversation with him today. I sent the message to Manny. He's doing good. And even though he hasn't seen this episode, he was pleased to know that, hey, like, you know, it's not just Bashir or whoever else. It's like we actually have an authentic representation of different religions in Starfleet, which is kind of cool. Because they tried to do it initially with Klingon religion, Bajoran religion, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But they never really went down to human. Like the only time I heard them,
humans are supposed to be past that. Humans are supposed to be past
okay, all right, but there's the difference between religious observance and cultural observance.
Right.
So you can be culturally Muslim, but not religiously.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Because somebody has his job on, how does that make them Muslim?
So that's
Muslim culturally.
Yeah, but I'm just saying somebody could just be wearing it as a stylistic. As a style.
Well. I mean, you know what? It is 300 years in the future. It could have been a stylistic choice. It could have been, but this particular woman was a woman of color, and she looked the part. And so I was thinking, oh, we have a Muslim here. You know, cool. You know, but I don't know. Maybe because I have not seen a hijab at any point. In Star Trek, like ever, and then at the same time, I haven't seen a Christian or a Jew or anything. I
kind of feel like they should sort of, in my opinion, I feel like they should sort of stay away from that sort of thing.
Yeah,
like, I don't want to see more. I don't want to see more of that.
I mean, remember they had the King of Jordan on an episode of Voyager.
Oh yeah, they did. It was a cameo, the actual King of Jordan.
Yes.
Yeah, the country. Yeah. Oh, the country.
Well, he was the crown prince at the time, but he's the king now.
He's the king now. Yeah, he was actually king, like royalty. Like, so I mean, I think to Jason's point, back in the season 2 or maybe season 1 of Discovery, Michael mentioned it, like what's the point? Like why is this even a topic about religions? It's been left behind centuries ago. Why are we even doing this?
The second episode of season 2, New Eden, when they went to the planet where you had the humans transported from World War III that have made an amalgamation of all the world's religions into their own thing.
And they left them there.
And Pike knew something about it from his father having taught about religion, and they had a really deep conversation on that. But we had several references in the original series to religion as being something old and ancient.
Right.
Yeah, because
you don't see it much. Even TNG, you don't see it. You see,
you don't
see Christmas in the movie.
Well, here's the thing. There's 2 references that I remember, and they're technically not religious references. They're more, to Keith's point, cultural references. Because I remember Picard specifically saying, "Good Lord." Hell, I even remember Odo saying, "Good Lord," but there was no reason for him to say that, so I think that got lost in the universal translation.
Well, yeah, that's it's
a saying. It's just a phrase, right? So that's one. So that's a phrase. The other one was Generations, the Christmas thing in the Nexus. Now, there was no crosses anywhere and nothing like that. Yeah. But Christmas is still a cultural thing, but not necessarily a religious thing.
Okay, so Christmas has gone beyond being a religious holiday.
Right.
Because if it was just a religious holiday, it would be against the law for it to be a federal holiday. Because that would be the federal government picking a religion.
Right.
So Christmas has become a holiday, a cultural holiday in the United States, that it doesn't matter if you're Christian, you can celebrate Christmas. And many of the images of Christmas have nothing to do with any of the religion.
It's just Christmas.
The tree comes from Germany. Santa Claus comes from Norway and Russia and up north.
comes from the mushrooms up in the north that grew out of the snow.
Everything we now celebrate as part of Christmas pretty much has nothing to do with Jesus Christ and the three wise men and all
Wait, I missed one character.
Hmm.
Cisco's father.
Yes.
Like when they did the biblical reference, I think it was like, I don't know if it was like Second Timothy or something, and Ben said, I don't really picture you as like a religious or Christian type. And then his father said, well, I'm full of surprises. He's like, I finished the course, I ran my race, I finished the course, I kept the faith. And I thought that was like so cool because that was like the only time I ever heard that. But it's kind of like nice to know. It's just like maybe in a general sense, Earth has like left religion behind, but it's like, but there's still references, right?
Well, there was, remember that his father was, when he was Benny, working in the episode where the prophets were giving him an image of the time of civil rights movement, and he was Benny working for the sci-fi magazine. His father was the priest that was
Right.
the
It was
preacher
the
out on the
priest.
street. So,
Right. So
but
it's like it's still
but
there.
going back to the cage, the very first episode of Star Trek, you had Pike subjected to horrors, and because he wouldn't do what the Telosians wanted him to do, they made him feel like he was burning, and they said, in a representation of from your planet's past of something called hell. So the
Hell.
idea that it was right there in the very first episode of Star Trek that we had moved past religion, we had moved past the idea of heaven and hell.
And then they really got into it, and it was the
Who mourns
offshoot
for
of the
Adonais?
it was the TNG episode, right? With Picard, when Picard specifically was talking about these cousins, distant cousins of these Vulcans and Romulans that was on a planet, and they had just left religion behind, like,
Yeah.
and it was when they saw basically the Prime Directive was broken because of some accident, you know.
Well, but in TOS second season, you had Who mourns for Adonais when they find the Greek god Apollo, and it turns out that the Greek gods were actually all aliens who had visited Earth and sort of subjected a section of the people. And
they've done that several times.
Yes, but in the end, when they returned to the ship and in discussing it, Kirk says we had no place for gods. Even one was more than enough. I may be paraphrasing that. I think I have that wrong. So.
Okay.
Look at the light. What was your
all right,
favorite?
So, yeah, we're running out of time, and we got some news to cover.
Yeah, we got some news to cover. Code and Morgan, why don't you just like comment your favorite scene while we get some Keith going with some news, because we have a lot to talk about with the strike, or should I say the end of one strike and the beginning of another.
Yes, the writers' strike is over. They reached a deal on Tuesday. There were five straight days of base negotiations between the Writers Guild and the MPTP, and they reached a deal. The main committee of the Writers Guild voted to approve the deal on Tuesday night, and the strike ended at midnight Tuesday night, and writers were free to go back to work as early as Wednesday morning. And they got basically almost everything they wanted. They got an increased share on the not royalties.
Royalties.
I'm blanking on the other. Hold on, I actually had this loaded on my phone, ready to read it.
I guess I do. Real quick question: is this the longest strike in history?
No, it's the yeah, I think it's the longest Writers Guild strike.
It's the longest Writers Guild strike, but not the actors one.
The actors is still go a while.
It's still going on.
Actually, no. The late '80s Writers Guild strike went like 6 months, I believe, and this one only went
5.5.
Yeah. 4.
4. Okay.
May 2nd to September 27th.
May 2nd to September 22nd. So that's May.
Okay. Or 25th. Yeah. All right. So most NBA minimums will increase by 5%. So they now will go up. Their salaries are going to go up. Increased health and pension contribution rate. Increased health and pension contribution for writing teams. AI can't write or rewrite literary material, and AI generated material will not be considered source material under the NBA, meaning that AI-generated material can't be used to undermine a writer's credit or separated rights.
That explains why Tom Paris was still able to write his own Hollow novels.
Yeah. A writer can choose to use AI when performing writing services if the company consents and provided that the writer follows applicable company policies. But the company can't require the writer to use AI software when performing writing services. Let's see, improved terms for screenwriter employment. There's a guaranteed second step. A second step is required whenever a writer is hired for a first draft screenplay for 200% of minimum or less. So, including original and non-original screenplays. So they are now guaranteed that they will get a chance to do a redraft if they don't like the first draft.
Instead of just it being tossed out.
Yes. An accelerated payment structure for flat deals and for streaming. When a feature-length project is made for streaming with a budget of $30 million or more, the minimum initial compensation for a story and teleplay is $100,000, an 18% increase from the current rate, and a 26% increase in the residual rate. Combined with the foreign residual improvements described further in the document, the results in a 3-year residual of $216,000 for projects on the largest services, which is a 49% increase from $144,993 under the previous MBA. And then, of course, there's also improved terms and high budget subscription video on demand. And because basically you had movies that were being released to streaming services instead of theaters. So then you had residuals tied to box office, but there's no box office if it's being released on streaming. So
that was the whole thing that was going on with oh my god, what's her name? Black Widow.
Scarlett Johansson. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, her deal on Black Widow was tied to the residuals, and then they released the movie on streaming and in theaters at the same time.
They tried to loophole it. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So that's the Writers Guild strike. That is now officially over. The Screen Actors Guild, the SAG-AFTRA strike continues. And in fact, there was a big Star Trek picket the very first day the Writers Guild was over, where you had a lot of Star Trek actors out at Paramount. But starting this week, you had the Video Game Actors Guild has joined in the strike. So they are now on strike.
That's where these guys come in, right here.
So any video game that's done under a union shop in the United States, any production work is going to stop, because they cannot go if they were already under a union deal. I don't know the name of the executive body on that, but
what unions do they have in video games? I mean, I know they have SAG-AFTRAs in video games, but
part of SAG-AFTRA in video games, yeah.
But what other jobs in video games have unions in them?
Well, the actors, the voice actors.
So it's just the actors?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on. Yeah. No, they previously were on the strike in 2016 that lasted almost a year.
The video game people?
The video game people.
Wait. So are you talking about video game actors or video game like creators?
Video game actors.
Okay. So anything that requires them is going to be put on hold for a while.
Yes. If they had any need for the actors to record additional audio, or for them to stand in for digital reproduction, because they've done that a lot lately, casting actors and then actually basing the characters off of the look. The most notable one is on the new Star Wars game where they have Cameron Monaghan.
Yeah, I was about to say that they had him, and then they had Detroit Become Human. I actually followed the guy on Instagram.
What's it?
Yeah,
what's his name? Jesse something.
But the guy that played as Bishop Wayland from the Alien franchise, he was on there, and I think it was kind of like a haha moment because it was the whole Android thing, but he was there, and they had his face and voice and everything. Like
they do that a lot, like even in what's the one with the futuristic woman with the bow? Horizon Zero Dawn.
Hunger Games.
No, Horizon Zero Dawn. They
okay. Sorry.
A lot of those actors look exactly like they do. In real life. They do that now because it's easier for them because they put sensors all over their face so the computer knows what their face is doing. But I mean, Spider-Man's already about to be released, so I'm cool.
All right, so the groups that are being struck, the gaming firms, are Activision, Blindlight, Disney, Electronic Arts, Epic Games, Formosa Interactive, Insomniac Games, which once made Spider-Man, Take-Two Productions, VoiceWorks Productions, and WB Games. So any
Most
games
the heavy
that
hitters.
were still in production, they're screeched to a halt with this strike. But there is hope now that the Writers Guild strike is over, that now AMPTP will work with the screen actors and get them back to work.
Okay.
And with the Writers Guild strike being over, there was a lot of stories coming out at the end of the week about, now that this is past us, will we see some writing announcements of things that had to wait until the writers' strike was over, like, say, Legacy.
Look, all I can tell you is that this was in the middle of the whole strike. Jonathan Frakes said to me that being an actor is such an unjust profession, and he is correct, which I responded to him. I said, that's true, but I'm going to be ready when it's over. And I will see you on Legacy.
Well, Dave Blass, who did the production design for Picard, did an interview, and they were talking about Legacy, and he said it's getting to the point now where they need to make a decision soon, or they're going to start losing people, losing actors to other roles, losing the sets are going to be torn down and destroyed.
Oh, baby.
But he did let it be known that he has already redesigned the Enterprise G set. From what you got as the bridge of the Titan A was essentially the same bridge that they used for the Stargazer in season 2. But he already made a number of design changes that he would put into effect if they moved forward with Legacy.
I also read somewhere where Patrick Stewart said that he's tapped out for shows, but he is pushing and ready for a Picard movie where he can finally lay it to rest.
Well, yeah, his book. He got his first copy of his book this week, Making It So, and the review copies went out to different groups. And in the book, he said that he believes that to properly end his character, he wants to do a movie, but not a full feature release, but like what they're talking about doing with the Section 31 movie on Paramount.
Kind of like breaking it up into sub things like that.
No,
but smaller.
What they called long treks. It would be essentially a made-for-TV movie.
And then he gets to fight Nagila.
You gonna you know what? I'm just kidding.
Okay, because I got another writing news that came out with the end of the writers' strike, and that was they had an interview with writer Lindsay Anderson Beer, who has just finished the movie Pet Sematary Bloodlines that's now being released, and she also she's also going to be directing the live action remake of Bambi for Disney.
A live action remake of Bambi.
Yes. She wrote the original script for the 4th Kelvin movie. Her working with what was the other writer?
There was no 4th Kelvin movie, was there?
That she wrote the script with Geneva Robertson Drorit, who had written Captain Marvel for Star Trek 4. And she left to go work on these other projects. They brought in Josh Friedman and Cameron Squires. Josh Friedman writing Avatar: The Way of Water, and Cameron Squires writing WandaVision, and they did a rewrite based on the draft by Beer and Robertson Drorit. And in asking, while she's promoting her new movie, the new Pet Sematary Bloodlines, they asked her, and she said Star Trek 4 is still on the tracks. I love that project. It was another one that I had to hop off of to direct this movie, and that was a hard thing to do. But I love that everybody involved with that project. So just as the last director that had been signed, Matt Shackman, said that it's still going when he left the project at the end of last year, she's now saying that now that the writer's strike is over, there's a possibility that movie could still move forward. But we're now looking at 7 years since Star Trek Beyond was released. So we're almost getting as long of a time between releases that we had between Nemesis and Star Trek 09.
I was going to say, because it's like Nemesis and Star Trek was 5 years, right? 4 years. No, it was 4 years. Yes, because Nemesis came out in 2005.
Yeah.
And 09 came out 4 years later. So yeah, this is pretty long. Like well, hold up. How long? I think this is like the last gap other than the TOS films. The last gap was like between Insurrection and Nemesis because Insurrection came out in like what 97 or
yeah, I believe so.
Right.
All right, guys.
No, it was 98. 96 was
out of here.
See you, Jason.
Okay. All right, bye, Jason.
I know we're almost done anyway, but good having you. See you next time.
Right. See you, Jason. All right, so yeah, we are way over the time. So I'm trying to find what was the name. They haven't released the name of next week's episode, but somebody had leaked it a month ago. Let me find that real quick.
Not someone leaked it a month ago. It's the month ago for me.
Well, the person that leaked it, they said this may be the name of the episodes, and so far they've been 100% correct.
Oh.
But yeah, further thing on Picard, on Sir Patrick Stewart's book tour, he announced today that every one of his book talks will be hosted by someone else doing the interview. It will start in New York with Whoopi Goldberg hosting.
Oh, wow.
And when it gets to LA, LeVar Burton will be hosting.
Okay.
And he'll be here in DC early next month. And unfortunately, he's in Philadelphia the day before and he's somewhere else the day after. So
he's only going to be there for that one day.
Yeah. Not much time to do anything else.
Dang.
Yeah. Okay. So this was from Trek Central, the rumored titles, Empathalogical Fallacies. Next week is supposed to be Parth Ferengi's Heart Place. So we know from a trailer that they visit Ferenginar and meet Grand Nagus Rom.
We're gonna see Rom.
We're gonna see Rom.
I gotta get these boys up to par with Rom. They are gonna love him so much. I think they're gonna love Nog a little bit more and Cork, but it's just like not Rom is just Rom. Like Rom earned his place. He really earned his place. He did.
And of course, we did have another very short Trek that was released yesterday, written by the great Star Trek writer Aaron Waltke.
Aaron! Oh, I remember when he surprised us on the show.
Yeah, called Holograms All the Way Down. And it's only 2 minutes long. And it is, in my belief, the best of the very short Treks. And I'm not just saying that because Aaron Waltke has watched the show. But compared to the previous ones, it starts with Trip Tucker in command of the Enterprise in Ecto 1.
Oh,
and then you hear Computer and Program, and it's Riker and Troy. And then you hear Computer and Program, and it's the Lower Decks crew.
Yo, this is rich.
You need to check it out because it's
so what you're saying is I need to take them through some DS9 of Rom's character and the last episode of Enterprise.
No, just watching this.
He said no, don't. He said no, don't do that to them.
No. But you got Connor Trinneer back as Tucker. You've got the Lower Decks crew. You've got Riker and Troy, and you've got Ethan Phillips back as Neelix. As well as you had a scene where you hear Computer and Program, and it's Armin Shimmerman as Quark. Hanging out with Garrick.
Garrick? Oh my God! Oh, Garrick released an audiobook. I heard.
Well, Andrew Robinson, the actor who portrayed Garrick, wrote a novel of the life of Garrick called A Stitch in Time, based off of, he kept his own character Bible from when he started on the show. He would make notes of, he got so into the character that he imagined his whole life and then would base his acting performance based off of this background he created. And after the show was over, he published it. And it's a great book. And he just recorded the audio book of it.
I know what I'll be listening to while I'm cleaning my house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for this. Okay, so you know what happens whenever we go 10 to 15 minutes over time. That means it was a good episode.
Yes, we're Yeah, we're sorry, Jermaine.
Sorry,
Didn't mean to go over.
Jermaine. I hope you're enjoying Chicago right now. At least I
Yeah,
think that's where he's at.
we had a few tangents there where we kind of got off, but
We did. We
had a
did. But
lot of people. We had a few people watching. We had a few people on.
yeah, that's right. We got, thanks for watching. Colton, and I'm not gonna lie, you said Connor Chenier. I almost called Colton Connor. Thank you, Colton and Morgan, for watching, and the third person that just showed up. I don't know who you are, but hello.
That might be me. But
today's episode was pretty dope, and I can't wait for next week because I know I'm very excited, and because we're gonna see like a lot of cameos, I'm going to expect that we're gonna have more than a skeleton crew. No shade. But because
well, I mean, Marie was very busy today.
Marie was busy. Marie was very busy. That's true.
We miss Marie.
I'm
We wish
kind
you
of
were here.
sad that I didn't see Michael though. I wanted to see Michael. Like I miss his shiny head.
Well, he's been busy as well. So, but yeah, hopefully we'll have more next week as we go to Franganar. But thank you all for watching. Have a good night. Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
Like, comment, share. Let us know what you think down below. Share it with your friends, and maybe you could join us maybe next week.
Absolutely. I saw one more comment. What was it? Here we go.
Have a good night from Colton.
Have a good all right. Have a good night. Y'all have a good one. Peace. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not going to ever say it on the internet. Yeah, never. yeah.
I'm sorry. Wait. There was a shadow of a church.
Okay. What?
William has questionable ideas about what he puts. William has questionable ideas about what he puts on the internet.
Oh, I remember that episode.
Uh-huh.
I remember that episode. Yeah.
Wait. What? Wait.